All right, hello RG. I'm glad you appreciate that me using that. I can't believe nobody else has ever done that. But anyway, that's I'm glad to hear that you appreciated that. Anyway, let me go ahead. I like to do videos for things like this sometimes, just because I feel like it's easier for me to tell you rather than write it, type it, right? So your email here, you say that you weren't aware that you should be doing so in the overall feedback box. And so the thing is, they do not see the individual rubric boxes. All they see is your assignment, well, let me show you. They'll see something like this. This is actually a document. If you want, I can attach it. Matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and attach it so you can see so you can look at it yourself. This one actually tells you it's all about providing the students, guiding students to the feedback that you've provided for them. And so this is per the FFR. And notice here it shows you how to do each one, right? So it shows you, like, if you have provided rubric feedback in the rubric, you'll see a link here. The students will see a link down here that says view graded rubric, and that's what they will click on. So like Jose here, for example, the teacher told Jose here, you did really well, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, please click the view graded rubric link, which is what I always say. I basically use something very similar to this, no longer than this either, because if you've put all your major feedback in some other place, then you really just, all you need to do here is just give them a little bit of maybe a word of encouragement and then just tell them to check out the feedback, right? So that's what they do here. I tell them to click the view graded rubric link, and that way they'll see it down here and it'll be easy for them to do it. Same thing will happen with turn it in. If you have turn it in, which it goes on to show you the next one, if you provide information in the turn it in link, then it will show them that, right? And if you well, what you'll do is you'll say, please click the view turn it in online grading link below to review, right? And so that will show them the view graded rubric, or the turn it in grading. If you want them to do it, this is something I like to do for some of my more in-depth assignments, is I'll create a brief 2 or 3 minutes, whatever it is, audio uh, feedback as I'm going over their assignment. I'll speak in the audio recording and create that. And as you can see here, you just want to tell them to listen to the attached recording, right? So same thing. Notice this is brief because most of your work that you've done, the putting into the actual feedback, is all in that extended place, that other element. And here you have a video. Now I use videos for the feedback I give in the major assignments, like the week 5 in English 130, the week 5 rough draft, especially, and also usually for the projects, I'll do my feedback in video, just because, again, it's easier for me. I like doing videos like this because it's easier than trying to type a bunch of stuff. So notice that you just simply say, watch the attached video. Now I don't use, for the view videos, I do not use the provided video thing that they give you as an option to use. I do them through what I'm showing you, what I'm doing this for you with, which is called Screen, right here. Let me make sure. ScreenPal. So ScreenPal is a good one for doing this. So that way I can create the video and I can show my screen and let my students, like, it's kind of like letting my students watch over my shoulder as I grade their work, pretty much like you're probably experiencing it right now, right? So audio, anything like that, it tells you how to do the directive language, how to tell them or remind them where to see your language. Now, if you put everything in the feedback box, then you're just going to do everything. You could have that all in the feedback box, and not have to refer them to anything if you don't want to. You can tell them that their actual breakdown of the grades are in view graded rubric if you wanted to here. But if you provide overall feedback, like here she says, thank you for taking the time to reflect on your blah, blah, blah. Please click the view graded rubric link to review the scoring. And then she says, for detailed comments on the strengths of your work and areas of opportunity, please review my notes in here, the overall feedback box, right? And then she goes on to provide them here. That's something you can do. And if you do that, then you don't have to refer them anywhere else, because there is nowhere else for them to go unless you want to remind them where to see their scoring, right? The individual scoring elements. And that's it. That's how that works. Now, let me go back to your your announcement. Okay, so there is, like I said, that I don't know of a way to see what your students see exactly. I mean, you do have the ability, and you probably know this already, but you do have the ability to like go up here and click on your name here and go to, well, it's not going to let me do it here because I'm in the Team Lead Hub. But if you're in a regular page like here, I was just going to use this to show you my own way of doing it, and that's, you kind of saw it there on the right if you noticed it. Like when you're in here, you can click on this and you can go to view as a student, but you cannot view as a student things that they do, right? So, like, in other words, you can't. The only way you can view what the students see is if you created an answer, if you actually responded to your own assignment, and then viewed that as a student, you could probably see that stuff. But without going through that much trouble, the easiest way to see what they see is just to look at this link, this thing that I'm going to send you anyway, right? That's what they see. Now, what they also see when they open up their assignment, they'll see the full, when they click on view graded rubric, they'll actually see the entire rubric, big, exploded up with all of the different elements telling them what's good, what's okay, what's not so good, right? They see the full rubric, and then they see your notes at the bottom of each of those rubric elements. So, let me see, go back to your email, see if there's anything else I need to cover here. Best practice language to use in the overall, I just showed you that. That's on that thing that's going to be attached. Point you to a reference that has continually updated FFR information. The FFR is what you would look at itself, right? So if you look at the FFR, I'm going to use my own information up here. So I've got the different things here. If you look at the PowerPoint, though, that's the main thing. So if we look at the PowerPoint for the FFR, you'll see the discussion boards, what that should look like. It tells you how you should do that and everything, right? And tells you what exceeds. This is what we look at. So this is what we, as your evaluators, as your team leads, look at to basically tell you how you're doing, right? So, for example, if in your discussion board, if you meet during the after the first week. After the first discussion, your response rate is supposed to be 20 to 60, which is meet percent. In other words, responding to 20 to 60% of your students is meets. Anything over 61% you respond to is exceeds, and so forth. So that's kind of what that looks like. I probably won't be, well, I don't know if I could. I should probably be able to give you this too. I think you can probably see this on your own. But the point I wanted to bring up here was grading and feedback here. See, notice what it says. It says here, regardless, we'll highlight it, regardless of your preferred feedback delivery tool, please leave a note in the general feedback box, which I think is silly. They should keep all the names the same. So this should say overall feedback box, directing students where to find that is provided. So the rubric, turn it in, whatever, right? So that's in the FFR, and if anything changes, they will undoubtedly update that, right? But I'm not sure when the last time they updated it was, even or if it even tells. It might say somewhere. I don't see anything telling where they updated it or when they updated it last. But anyway, I would assume they would update that as needed. Sure. So yeah, and you can also get it in text-based format. So yeah, I mean this is your requirement documents. So you would definitely have access to this yourself if you go back and look in the if you look for, like, you could probably go in and search, but I'll just go ahead and I'll attach this one too, so that way you don't have to go looking for it. All right. So I hope this is helpful. Probably went, I went over 10 minutes, a little longer than I thought it would, but hopefully it has helped. And I think I've covered everything in your email. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. And otherwise, that will do it. All right. Take care.